Alright guys, so after a couple months of actually taking this car apart and going through the motor and rebuilding it, it's finally back together. Now, along the way, we ran into a couple issues that we had to address. Thankfully, none of the issues that we ran into were major issues, and they were all pretty easily resolved. Now, in the last video you've seen, we actually started putting the motor back into the car. We didn't fully get around to buttoning it up and getting it running, but I might have went ahead and did that part already. So surprisingly, the G45 turbo bolted directly up to the old turbo kit. Unfortunately, the old turbo kit didn't bolt back up to itself. It kind of seen some heat cycles and did a little bit of warping there, so the V-band flanges didn't want to go back together. So I actually had to go ahead, cut, and extend one of the tubes to make it line back up. But the G45 bolted right up to the T4 flange, downpipe went on. The only thing that didn't really line up all the way was the charge pipe. I actually had a different V-band flange welded on the old GTX 4508R. So the flange that's on my charge pipe and the flange that's included on the G45 won't bolt together. So I'm going to have to cut the V-band off of my charge pipe that I have if I want to make it bolt up to the G45 turbo. Now, we do plan on building a whole new turbo kit for this thing anyways, so not really concerned about that. Probably going to build a whole new charge pipe regardless, and with the new headers and crossover, turbo's not even going to be in the same spot anyway, so all that stuff's got to change, but finally runs. Alright guys, so kind of short video, not going over much in this one. Obviously, I did a lot of the work while I wasn't recording. To be honest, I just really wanted to get this thing back together, so I just took a whole day, focused on that, getting everything put back together on the car to get this thing fired up. So things that still need to be addressed, obviously, like I stated before, we do have to build a whole new turbo kit for this, so that's on the agenda. And the other thing is, right now, I don't even have water or coolant in this, so I didn't even really let it run long enough to get warmed up, because there's no coolant or water in it. It does have oil, has good oil pressure, and it doesn't make any sounds other than a obnoxiously squeaky belt, which this thing has always had because of the tensioner system on it. It technically doesn't even have a tensioner, it's just the alternator swings out into place, and that's how the alternator tightens. So it's always had a squeaky belt on startup, and it still does. But other than that, we ran into one issue with batteries. We found one of the batteries in the back of this was like completely dead, so trying to get this started originally, it just would not start at all. Yeah, I could get it up to like 12.5 volts on a charger, but as soon as I went to crank it, it would drop down to like 6 volts. So kind of traced it and diagnosed it down to a battery, so I disconnected the one battery I thought was bad, and as soon as I disconnected that battery, it fired right up. So the dead battery was just drawing too much voltage away from the good one and preventing it from starting, but as soon as I figured that out, fired right up, no problems. Motor's got really good oil pressure, sounds super healthy, and I am just stoked to test out that new turbo. That G45 is just going to be gnarly on this thing, so I'm really looking forward to that. Anyways, if you guys like this quick little short video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, follow the build along, and until the next one, I'll catch you guys later.